Today I'm here with Luke Jackson, captain of the 2012 Olympic boxing team. Luke, thank you very much for coming and speaking with me today.
My pleasure, brother. It's good to see you getting things up and going.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Mate, you're considered one of the greats, not only for your professional career in boxing, but more recently for your battle over mental health, depression, drug and alcohol abuse. And I find it really inspiring how real you are with everyone, how much love you show everyone, including myself. But firstly, I'd really love to ask you, what did you need to do to change your mindset to create that winning mindset? And were there any obstacles you needed to overcome?
Thanks to the beautiful words to start with. It's funny when you hear someone else speak about you, because I don't see any of that when it's so funny. Like, people are, we're wired a certain way. I never see the good in me. I've always seen the bad in me, and I've seen the bad in every situation, and I think that's what's been my driving force, to just try to be the best I can. And even when I haven't been feeling mentally stable, I've just worked hard, man. And I think a lot of that comes from my upbringing, the way I was brought up, and a chaotic childhood, and just trying to survive, man. And just, I wanted to be an Olympian, so my goal was to be an Olympic boxer, and I would do anything to make that happen, and even if that meant taking my own life after I made it. Like, if someone said to me, you can become an Olympic boxer, but you got to die 2 weeks later, I'd say no problem. That's how bad I wanted it, and that's the way I approached it.
It's so interesting you say that, because all I hear about at the moment is the importance of purpose, and it sounds like, to me, you've always known what your purpose is and how important that is in driving you to reach your goals. What I thought was really nice was, despite how successful you are, it sounds like you really have no attachment to your ego, and in fact you're always looking at where you could improve, which is really rare for someone who's accomplished as much as you.
It's funny, I have a lot of self-doubt, and even that comes from everything. With my relationship, I don't think I'm worthy enough for my partner Katie, and we just had a really good conversation a couple of weeks back, and she's like, do you even know why I'm with you? And I couldn't answer the question. She continued to tell me why she's with me, and it was none of the boxing. It was because I was nice to her. Was the main thing. It was just I was a nice person, and I was caring, I was loving, but it wasn't anything that I've brought her, and it wasn't anything that I've done in my career. She loved the way I'd achieve things from where I come from and my upbringing, because I know when we first got together, she'd hear things about my upbringing and she'd get really upset about it. For me, it was normal. I've always been my own worst critic, and I try to help the other fighters and other people that I even train or speak to. I tell them, look in the mirror, have a look at yourself. Katie had an interview the other day, and she messaged me. She goes, I'm very nervous, and I said, darling, go and look in the fucking mirror, and look at how good you are, and go and attack this interview. You are the queen. Let's go, baby. I'm very good at telling other people, but
Hard to tell yourself.
Exactly, but I feel that now I'm telling others, I'm telling myself at the same time. So at the minute, I feel bulletproof. I feel like I could run through a wall. I feel very good. I feel like I could make a comeback.
I feel that too, bro.
I could feel like I could come back and have another fight, but I don't know. I'm nearly 40, so I've got to be smart about it.
Mate, it's interesting. I've never really heard that perspective on it before. Would you say that, I think for a lot of people, self-doubt is perceived as negative, but for you it seems as though being able to reflect on yourself and where you can improve is actually a positive and shows you where you can go further.
Of course, I look at videos and interviews of before I turned professional, because when I was trying to become an Olympic boxer, I was so driven. I knew that I'd beat everyone, and if I couldn't beat them, I'd go close. And I used to check and see what people are doing New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and I knew they'd be out drinking. And New Year's Day is my birthday, so I'd be in the gym. I'd go down to the gym at Zap Fitness in Glenorchy and Moona in Tasmania, and I'd train until like it was past midnight. So then I'm training on my birthday. Everyone's out off their head. So I never used to drink. The plate used to come around in the parties. They wouldn't even pass me the plate of drugs, because they knew that they just knew that I was different. And then it wasn't until after the Olympics I had a breakup with a girl, and I was very depressed from after the Olympics. It didn't go how I wanted it to, and the plate was going around. I just grabbed it and fucking had a line, and that's the end of that. I enjoyed it, and I abused it for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later on that I started really doubting myself, because the drugs will destroy. A good friend of mine told me that drugs will destroy bigger, harder, stronger men than me and you, and that's so true, right?
So true.
The drugs slowly but surely broke me down and made me doubt myself, because I'm on benders. I'll be in the house just like this. The sun will be up, I'll be off my head, parties, everyone will be going, and then my coach would text me, say, hey, we've got a fight coming up, do you want to fight this guy? And the last thing I'm thinking about is fighting someone. I'm thinking about fucking killing myself, because I've run out of drugs, I'm depressed. So that's where the self-doubt comes in even more. And you just think you're a piece of shit, So drugs, stay away from them. They're no good for you.
Mate, that was actually going to be my next question. I've never actually heard kind of where it all began.
I remember the day. I had a big, a partner that I was with at the time. We'd split up, and it was on and off, trying to make it work, and she finally said it was done, so it was really affecting me.
Yeah, of course.
And I tell you, breakups are probably one of the hardest things an individual could go through, but I think they're essential for your growth, right? I look back, I've done a lot of wrong things in that relationship. I learned a lot of things that I said I wouldn't do again, but I have done. But then I've noticed that I've done it, and I've spoke about it, and I've said, okay, this is what you're doing here. Stop that, and own it. And it's okay to be vulnerable. So everything that I learnt that I should have done, I'm trying to be better. It's an ongoing process. But I was training a couple of guys. I had fights up in Ulverston, I think, in Tasmania, and we drove back down, and one of the boys was doing drugs all the way up in the back of the car, and I only drunk and done cigarettes. Had a couple of cigarettes. Like cigarettes is the go-to drug.
That was your vice.
Yeah. And then was in my bedroom, and he had the plate there, and I'm just like, yeah, all right, give me a line. And I had a line. I'm like, fuck, that is one of the best feelings I've ever had in my whole fucking life. And I'm like, give me some more, and and then I'm like, where's the rest of it? He goes, that's all I got. So I'm ringing everyone, brother, trying to get it. And then that was the start of it. We couldn't get none that night, and then after it, I never wanted to have that feeling again where I'd have to ask someone for it. So I'd always make sure I had it. So I was the one with the bags on me.
That was a long road from then.
Yeah, brother.
Mate, first of all, congratulations. Is it 800 and how many days sober?
Well, it's over 1,000 now.
Over 1,000. I'm way out of touch.
The 2nd of May, it will be 3 years.
Hey.
A lot of work, huh?
Yeah, sure.
And the best thing about it is trying to help people. I've got a little program that I've got going now, and I've got some people. There's a 6-week program for people just to stop drinking, and stop doing drugs, because I think alcohol is the gateway to all drugs,
Absolutely, I agree.
And I'm helping a couple of guys do that, and they're doing well. I've had a couple of slip-ups, but that's all right. But just recently, as of yesterday, I had this guy reach out to me, and I don't want to mention names because, I don't need to, and it's between me and this guy, but he's in another country, and he messaged me just needing help, it's just at that breaking point, and it's just sad to see, man, and I just really want to help him, and I just want to give him a cuddle, man. One thing I've learned from not taking drugs is it's okay to cry.
Yeah.
It's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to show emotion, whereas I never did that. I just mask it through drugs. It's a beautiful feeling when you're actually raw and just feel what you're feeling and not mask it. It's a beautiful feeling, man, and I just being able to have people like that don't even know me from the other side of the world message me asking for some help. Fuck, brother, that's my purpose in life. That's what I'm here to do now, Yeah. And I want to continue to do it, and do it in ways that I can actually make a difference.
Bro, what would you say was like the turning point for you when you decided to become sober? And I'm sure like many of us, we've all kind of tried it a few times and, you know, failed. But for me, there has been a couple of times in my life where something in my brain has just ticked, and I'm wondering, you know, what was the moment for you where you decided, that's it, I'm not going back?
Well, towards the end, I was a fucking mess, you know. I was doing drugs by myself. I didn't really care for anything else. I'd finish work, I'd come home, and I'd just have a couple of beers and a bag of Coke, you know, on a Tuesday night, like in the bedroom by myself. I was living with a housemate at the time, so I'd put earphones in so I could listen to music so I didn't wake her up, you know. I was just doing Coke in the bedroom, like just fucking, it's like, what the fuck is going on? Then over a weekend, like I'd finish work on a Friday, I'd drive home, no one would be at home because she'd be at her partner's house, so it'd just be me and my dogs, and I'd get like an 8-ball of Coke, and I'd just sit there and just do the drugs by myself with some music, and I'd just fuck around on my phone, man, like just doing nothing, but I wouldn't leave the house. And then it'd run out the next day, and I'd try and get more, and it would just be a vicious cycle, you know. And then, but I was just, I knew people were worried about me. I had people knocking on the door. I had one of my mates, Daniel Anderson, he was trying to get in the house one day, and I wouldn't answer the door. And I was hiding in the house because I knew he was going to come in. And it's a fucking shit feeling, brother, like when you're on edge, you know, and the dogs are barking, and the fucking lights shining in and fucking looking out, and he goes, I know you're in there, Luke. I'm going to come around the back, brother. And I'm just like, fucking hell. So I just under the door, he's like, brother, goes, I'm not going to judge you, I'm not going to be, he goes, you got to stop, man, like, it's not good, bro. Like, and I'm just like, fuck. And then he left, and I just continued to party, and then like I was sitting there like a couple of days later, and like I'd party for days, bro, like days. And then it was my sister's birthday, so I FaceTimed her, and I was off my fucking head, and they were all worried about me. I replied to Tyson Fury's story on Instagram, and then he wrote back to me, he goes, hey Luke, how are you? And I just fucking told him, I said, I'm struggling, I'm in a bit of I'm in a rut, man. I'm just fucked. He's like, yeah, I know what it's like. And he sent me a voice note. And he's like, I've got the voice note here. I'll find it. He's like, you know, you just got to get out of it and continue to grow and get another fight locked in. And we've all been there, you know, from time to time in our life it happens. And I'm not saying that stopped me, but like a couple of days later I stopped. And I just stopped. And I said I'm going to do 100 days of training non-stop, and I did that, and I downloaded a calendar. The calendar is called Cocaine Addiction, and it's on 1,082 days.
Let's go. I guess to anyone who, what would you say to someone who's going down the path of drugs and alcohol? Because is it important to start reaching out to people?
Yeah, of course. You have to. You gotta get help, man. You have to. Like, I understand that everyone is different, and not everyone can do what I did the way I did it. But that's okay. I can't do many things, brother. I can box, and I can fucking. I'm very good at cleaning the house. I'm a fucking tidy person, but I struggle with a lot of things, brother. You know, in life, I'm on medication. I speak to my psych. I've got ADHD. I've got OCD. I have suicidal thoughts a lot. So it's hard, man. And I tried. You know, my mother was addicted to drugs, and my mother killed herself, I think, 2 years ago now. Was arguing, had a bit of an argument on the phone, and then got off the phone and she fucking killed herself. So it was fucking shit, very bad. She used to always just ring me for money, you know, and it really annoyed me that she'd always only ring me for money, never ask how I am. And we had a strange relationship, me and my mother. She put me in foster care a lot as a kid. So I miss my mum, you know. And then we had a strange relationship where she'd only ring me when she wanted money. And I put money in her account, and then I woke up to a message, a voice note saying, you didn't put the money in, how could you do that to me, you let me down, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, the fuck, like, the money's in there, and, like, how can you say I let you down? Like, you let me down. Like, anyway, I didn't speak to her for about 2 or 3 months. But at one stage in my life, I didn't speak to my mum for nearly fucking 7 years, you know, like, it was nothing out of the normal for me. But Katie kept saying, look, your mum's sick, you got to speak to her, So I finally answered the phone, and she said, hey, Luke, can I borrow some money? And I'm like, Mum, do you know I haven't answered the phone for like two months? She's like, yeah. I said, do you know why? She's like, nah. I said, because every time you ring me, you just want money, you know? And she's like, okay, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, look, it's okay. I said, how much money do you need? So I sent her $100, and then the next day I was in Canberra, and my phone rings again, and so it was Mum. And then I said, hey, Mum, how are you? And she's like, can I get some money off you? And I said, fuck, like, did you not listen to anything I said, you know? And I was pretty angry, and I just hung the phone up, and then she said sorry and stuff, and then she fucking just OD'd on morphine and died, man. It was fucked.
That must have been a pretty hard obstacle in your sobriety to overcome too. Like,
it was hard, man. It was hard to it was hard to fathom how she, like, that all happened, you know. And then I just got really angry. I still didn't cry. I didn't show any emotion. I just got really angry at the funeral. I went down there. I seen her body. I was very angry. Spoke at a funeral. Just a lot of anger. And then about a year later, my dog died. And then that's when it all happened, man. That's when all the emotion come out from probably fucking the last 10 years of my life. I just fucking couldn't stop crying. It was fucked. My dog got sick. That's him there on my arm. Oh, yeah. That's Chevy. He got sick. We spent nearly $50,000 at the vet trying to save him, and then he died, man. It was it was the fucking hardest time of my life, worst time of my life. Just cried and cried and cried, and you know it was so hard, but at the same time a beautiful experience to actually feel what it feels like to fucking love something unbelievably and just cry, like. So I think I've done a lot of healing through that, as fucked as it is.
Bro, on the topic of like love and support, you speak about your partner Katie all the time, and I've had the pleasure of meeting her a few times now. How important is it to have the right support network around you?
It's funny to have someone that is unconditional, like love you unconditionally. Like, that's a big word. Like, through your flaws, through the highs, the lows, through your fuck ups, just to love you, and to be there, you know. I've never experienced it other than Chevy, my dog, you know.
Do you feel like that's been like pivotal in you? Yeah,
like I'm very lucky, man. Like, you know, she's taught me what real love means, you know. Fuck, I'm gonna start crying in a minute. You know, it's rare that you can experience that same feeling that I have. You know, I never had it as a kid, you know, so to feel it at the age of fucking 39, 38, 37 when I met Katie, it's overwhelming.
I think we're honestly all as happy as you two are seeing you two together. It really is radiant.
Yeah, it's overwhelming, you know, and I just, I'm very grateful, very grateful for her. I met her at a run club named 440.
I know 440, yeah.
Yeah, so she was standing there, and I went up and I just said, hey, hey, how are you? And she's like, yeah, good. And I'm like, what's your name? She's like, Katie. I'm like, oh, yeah. My name's Luke. What do you do? And she's like, I do yoga. I'm like, always wanted to do yoga.
Of course you did.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, where do you work? She goes, self-help. And I'm like, okay, sweet. I said, so I got the Instagram. I said, is that it? Is that the one? She's like, yeah, okay. So I added it, and then I'm in the car on the way, and I had to go to Adelaide that day for boxing, for help for the Futures program. And I'm looking, I'm going, finding her name through the self-help, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And because her name's spelled Kadee, KD, and I found her. I'm like, yes, fucking found it. And then added it, and then we started talking on Instagram, and then she wanted to do boxing. I said, fuck.
We're on.
I'm a fucking man for that. And then we started training, and we were friends for like 2 months, you know, didn't do anything, just training, but I knew that I liked her, and I was very clear with what I wanted. And like, this might sound funny, but like, I was with Katie for like 2 months before we slept together or done anything, and like, I was in love with her as soon as I slept with her. Like, and that's strange to say that, but I knew she was different, you know? And we've all slept with people and we all know, but I knew then, like, it's weird. Like, I knew straight away. Like, I knew that this girl was different.
When you know, you know.
Yeah, and, you know, have it been easy? No. Have I made mistakes? Yes. Have I loved her through all of the mistakes? Yes. Has she loved me through all of her mistakes and my mistakes together? And fuck, man, it's been nearly 3 years and we've been through so much, and it's always, we haven't even been able to relax yet, Bella. You know, we haven't even been on a holiday together. It's just been so intense.
All the hard stuff out the way, so
Yeah.
like Katie said, hopefully all the good stuff is to come.
Yeah, and that's the plan, man, and I look forward to, you know, to spending my life with this woman and becoming a father. My next goal in life is to be a good dad, or a great dad. That's my goal. I think just to have my kids running around and say, Daddy, like, it's going to be like the best feeling in the fucking world. You know, I seen an interview once, they say, anyone can be a father, but it takes a special man to be a daddy, you know? And that's what I want. I just want to be there for my kids always, no matter what. No matter what, whether it's good or bad, I'm there and they can count on me, no matter what. And obviously Katie, but like, she's going to be a great mother, you know, I know that for a fact. But I just got a lot of things that I just want to give to my kids that I never had, and I'm excited for it, man. I just want to be a good person for my kids and treat my partner right, which is an ongoing battle, right?
It's a choice every day, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like exactly right, but it's a choice of how you know, and I like that what you just said then, it's a choice, because I wake up negative. That's just who I am. But then I've got a choice to change that narrative. Okay, so I talk about my mother, you know, like about I'm stuck in a pattern for the last fucking 30 plus years of how she wasn't there for me, she didn't do that. But then recently I started going, okay, no, stop that. Be grateful. Tell me a couple of things that your mother was good at. Okay, my mother fucking gave me birth. She gave birth to me. She gave me life. This beautiful woman gave me life. You know, and she was an amazing mother in the early parts of my life. Amazing. Until she fell off the wagon and went on drugs and alcohol. But who was there for her? You know, so I look at it differently now, and I guarantee it changes the way you think. It's definitely been a big difference in my mental health and the way I approach everything.
Luke, I'm promoting fitness through my page, but as someone who has also spent years suicidally depressed, the message I really want to get across is how the act of exercise can save you. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that, really. Like, what do you have to say to people who are going through it, and what has exercise done for you?
Exercise is everything. You know, I train every day. Every day I train. If my body's in bits, like I've had COVID and I've still trained. Like I'm not recommending people do that, but like when I say train, it can be a yoga session, it can be a stretching session, it can be anywhere or anything that you just allow yourself 30 minutes to an hour of just you and doing something for yourself. That can be meditation. You know, like training doesn't always have to be 100 miles an hour. It can be a walk. It can be something. You got to move the body daily, and without it, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. You know, I'm relentless in the way I train, and it's been a big coping mechanism for my drug addiction and my mental health. So I think about training every day. Like, I think, what am I going to do today? And I always make time for it. Always make time for it. They say you make time for things that you love, right?
100%.
So training's what I love.
Don't switch up on training.
Ever.
I think everyone's wanting to know what's next for Luke Jackson. Will you ever fight again, or what's the next goal of yours?
Look, it's funny, you know, I fought in August last year. I would love to fight again, but it comes down to money. It cost me a lot of money to prepare for a fight. My last fight, people wouldn't know this, but they paid me $5,000 for the fight. I sold over $50,000 worth of tickets. The training camp alone cost me nearly 30 grand, and they paid me $5,000 for the fight. It's fucking horrendous. They dictate what they can and can't do. Boxing is a beautiful sport filled with a lot of beautiful people and a lot of shit people. And it's usually the shit people are the ones that are making the money. So I was just contacted by a dear friend of mine, Billy Dibb. He wants to fight again, right? So he's asked me if I would like to fight him. I'm like, Billy, you're my friend. I don't really want to do that unless it was great money, you know? So unless they can come to me with good money, then I'll think about it. But like another thing, like Billy Dibb, you know, he's a champion fighter. He's overcome cancer. So, you know, I think it's a lose-lose situation for me. If I fight Billy, they're probably going to say, oh, you know, you're fighting a guy that had cancer. You beat Billy, you beat a guy that had cancer. I lose to Billy, you lost to a guy that had cancer. And I think Billy doesn't really need to fight. If you're coming from a friend, I don't think Billy needs to fight. I think he's done everything. I don't know what he's trying to do. If he wants to make some money, if we can do it as a money grab and grab some money together, of course. But other than that, I don't think so. I'd like to, but I'm 40 in January.
Well, it's not a no, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's not a no. If the money's right, but the money's never right, so I don't know what I'm even saying it for. Yeah, I'd love to, but who knows?
The very last question I'll leave you on, and it might take you some time to spew over, but what is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
I know what it is. There's been a lot. One of the best pieces of advice that I was given as a young kid was by my father, that make sure you finish school. And I'm big on that, you know, like I'm big on kids finishing school. And I'm not saying that you need to finish school because you're going to be, that you can't do this and you can't do that, because I can, but just it helps. It helps, and you're there, so you might as well do it, yeah? I'm not saying you got to go to university, but just go to school, finish school, do grade 10. I left in grade 7, so it's affected my life, affected the way I deal with things. It's affected I doubt myself a lot, and to pull the trigger. I don't pull the trigger on things. I procrastinate a lot. So that's one thing. Another thing was the one about drugs. You know, the drugs kill. Drugs will destroy bigger, harder, stronger men than us. That's a good one. And another one was by a dear friend named Sue Hollis. So this is Katie's auntie. Is be where your feet are. Look down at your feet and just be there. You know, like be present. You know, like, because I live in the past, I live in the future. Just be present. That's a good one. Yeah, be fucking here. Don't worry about tomorrow. You might be dead. Don't worry about yesterday. You can't fix it. Yeah, so... And just work your ass off, work hard, work whatever it is, back yourself. This is coming from me now. Back yourself. Whatever you want to do, guys, do it. Don't let no one tell you can't do something. If a little kid from Clarenville that was in and out of foster care, you know, smoked weed, drugs as a kid, stole, done the wrong thing. If I can go to the Olympic Games and be the captain for Australia, you can do anything. So back yourself and give it all you got.
Nice, bro. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it. My boy.